filing into Arco Arena in Sacramento for our national championship match between Penn State and Stanford. Let's meet now the starting lineup for the Nittany Lions.
Blair Brown, freshman right side, Percival, Virginia. They call me Bebop.
Hi, I'm Nicole Fawcett. I'm a junior outside hitter from Zanesfield, Ohio, and my town has no stoplight.
Hi, I'm Megan Hodge, a sophomore outside hitter from Durham, North Carolina, and my favorite color is pink.
Hi, I'm Krista Hermato, junior middle blocker from Hopewell, Pennsylvania, and my favorite TV show is Desperate Housewives.
Hi, my name is Ariel Wilson. I'm a freshman middle hitter from Broadview, Illinois. I'm ambidextrous.
Hi, I'm Alicia Goss. I'm a sophomore setter from Leland, Michigan. My mom was my high school volleyball coach, and my grandpa was my high school basketball coach.
Hi, I'm Roberta Holhouse. I'm a junior libero from Joplin, Maryland, and I graduated from a class of 1.
Russ Rose, the head coach at Penn State, the national coach of the year this season. He's got the best winning percentage in NCAA history. And now the starting lineup for the Stanford Cardinal.
Hi, I'm Erin Waller, a junior opposite from Baldwin, Missouri.
Hi, I'm Cynthia Barbosa, a junior outside hitter from Long Beach, California.
Hi, my name is Alex Kleinman. I'm a freshman outside hitter from Manhattan Beach, California.
Hi, my name is Francie Gerard, a senior middle blocker from Brooklyn, New York.
Hi, I'm Faluka Akinratovo, a junior middle blocker from Fort Lauderdale, Florida.
Hi, I'm Bryn Kehoe. I'm a senior setter from North Bend, Ohio.
Hi, I'm Gabby Ailes, freshman libero from Bellevue, Nebraska.
John Dunning, the head coach for Stanford, seeking a record 5th volleyball title. His most recent win 3 years ago with this current class of seniors for Stanford. The Cardinal come in with a 12-match win streak. They have played the entire NCAA tournament at or near home in Northern California. Penn State comes in riding a 25-match win streak. They have yet to drop a single game in the NCAA tournament. The last match that they lost was back in early September to the Stanford Cardinal. Stanford in white, Penn State in blue, and the championship match underway. And Megan Hodge registers the first kill.
And if she keeps hitting deep like that, expect a lot of balls to go down, but over the block. 6'3", huge jumper, a lot of potential for the future.
Both of these teams hit extremely well, while Penn State might have the advantage at the net. They are one of the top blocking teams in the country.
And not only is she a great hitter out there, Megan Hodge, but she intimidated the hitter on that play, Waller, a little bit by forcing her to hit out of bounds.
Bryn Kehoe goes to Cynthia Barbosa. That's put back by the Penn State block. Now Kleinman out of the back for the kill. The precocious 6'5" freshman from Manhattan Beach. Cynthia Barbosa, the junior from Long Beach, California. A lot of eyes on her with big expectations in this championship match. And her first serve is awry.
More awry than I might have expected. I think she's been feeling a little bit of weight on her shoulders throughout this tournament. Having some passing, some ball control problems last weekend and earlier in the semifinals.
And Hodge puts her first serve into the net. Francie Gerard, the senior from Brooklyn, enjoying the best season of her career. She was a member of that championship team in '04, and she serves the ace. Didn't start playing volleyball until high school when the coach at her high school plucked her out of a PE class and said, hey, you're coming with me. You've got a future on the volleyball court.
And here she is, almost finished at with a Stanford degree. What a story.
4-3 Penn State early on, and Krista Harmato, the junior from Aliquippa, All-American this season, and an ESPN The Magazine academic All-American as well. Chance now, Barbosa the pass to Bryn Kehoe. They'll look to Kleinman again, dug up by Hodge. Glass will give it back to Hodge, running the pipe out of the back.
We will see that both from Hodge and from Kleinman. Kleinman especially been playing great defense, but Hodge starts the play with the dig, then comes barreling down, hits that what we call a pipe set right down the middle of the court, but it's a backcourt set. She is so good at broad jumping. She's a very effective hitter on that play.
You pointed out from watching Megan, it's almost as if she's hitting at the net when she attacks out of the back row. That's how much ground she can cover.
In fact, on that last play, she landed only 2 or 3 feet from that center line under the net.
Erin Waller, who has come on strong late in the season for Stanford, now serving. Glass bumps it to Fawcett. Looking for the touch. Doesn't get it all tied up at 5 apiece. Not only do we have 6 All-Americans on the court tonight, Cards, but we have some of the hardest hitters in the country as well, and Fawcett is among that list. Glass, Hodge again out of the back. Akinradawu got a piece of it. And Alkio will go to Kleinman right at Whole House. Free ball Stanford. Kehoe, the quick set to Akinradawu for the kill.
Well, you were just talking about powerful hitters and great players. Talking to the head of USA Volleyball yesterday, he said he hasn't seen a final this deep in potential Olympic talent in a number of years. 4 almost guaranteed virtual locks to play in the Olympics. Akinradawu, Kleinman, Barbosa, and Hodge, and 3 others we can talk about in a bit.
That, of course, was Doug Beal, and probably just a matter of whether or not any of them would be good enough to make the 08 team, and certainly in line for the 2012 U.S. squad. And Kleinman got a touch, and Stanford is up 7-5 in the opener.
Well, absolutely. Those other ones would be players like Hermado, Fawcett, and even the freshman Ariel Wilson, who actually got her first start of the season against Stanford much earlier in Penn State's season.
The block for Kleinman. It's a 5-0 run right now for Stanford.
And this is unusual in this tournament. Wilson has almost never been stopped. She's been hitting an astronomical percentage here, almost 700 in NCAA play. That means almost 0 errors because, of course, it's your kills minus your errors divided by the total. Hitting .667 coming into tonight in their previous 5 matches of the tournament.
Alicia Glass, the sophomore from Leland, Michigan. You mentioned the match earlier in the year back on September 15th on a neutral floor. It was a 3-2 thriller in which Stanford out-hit and out-blocked Penn State on that night. Akinradawu looking for a piece of the floor, doesn't get it. The tip from Blair Brown, and it ping-pongs around, and the freshman who also made her debut in the starting lineup earlier in the year against Stanford gets the kill.
And been doing a great job, and that's one of the reasons why they've only lost 2 games in about 2 months. Last time they were really challenged was playing at Wisconsin in that tough Big Ten conference.
Akinradawu sliding over to the outside for the kill. 9-7 Stanford. Early in game 1, it's best 3 of 5 to decide the championship. Kleinman, the top prep player in the nation last year out of high school, followed it up with a Pac-10 Freshman of the Year honor this season. And another point for the Cardinal.
Well, so far, Penn State's, they had that lead and kind of given it up. And we saw that 2 nights ago against Cal. They'd have a lead and just kind of get a little careless with the ball, let Cal right back into the match, and that's what they've done here so far.
Off the tough serve, they'll get a free ball here. Barbosa dug up by Hodge. Glass bumps it back. Another chance for the Cardinal. Kehoe looks to Akinradawu, and no chance to pull that one up.
Well, that was one of the big questions is, can Akinradawu be stopped? Fawcett is a huge blocker for Penn State. She may even be the better blocker than Hodge, so they got the matchup on that play that they wanted, but not the result.
Faluka coming off a 26-kill performance in the semifinal win over SC, which tied her career high, and then Wilson, the freshman from Broadview, Illinois, with the counter. She did not have a hitting error in the semis against Cal, and the ace from Fawcett, that's her 4th of the weekend. Nicole already with more aces this year than she had in her first 2 seasons combined.
And you can see she really gets a rip on that ball. It's very hard if it goes between 2 players, and that's what she was able to do the previous attempt. It's very hard to get into, for those 2 players, one of them to get those arms into that seam.
Akinradawu, a junior from Plantation, Florida. who has plans to try out for the Olympic team and then eventually go to medical school. Hodge at Akinradawo, the overpass over to Penn State. Wilson got it.
This is one of the things I see as a big key to this match. Stanford is now with Akinradawo out of the game because she's in the back row. The 3 times she's not in the game, if Penn State can rack up more of an advantage than the deficit they might get when Akinradawo is in the front row, then Penn State's got a great shot.
There they go. They pick up a point without Akinradawo on the floor. This almost caught up with him late in the USC match when she was off the floor on match point, and her teammates rallied, and she was able to get back into the game when they won it.
And in fact, Coach Dunning said, boy, that was probably a gift from the volleyball gods. I don't want to even measure my blood pressure right now because we were in our weakest rotation. Akinradawo was out. It was this the previous rotation with Barbosa and Girard hitting, but they didn't have to earn match point, or didn't have to stave off match point. The serve went out instead.
Down to dig it up is Alyssa Dorico, the freshman from New York State. Waller sliding behind, glass covers. And then into the net from Holhouse. Point Stanford.
Well, sometimes you want to be aggressive, and Holhouse was trying to be aggressive on that one, standing on the floor but swinging at it rather than just putting over the easy free ball. But there are other times you just have to make the other team play it.
Each side, of course, has a player with a different jersey. That is the libero, basically a defensive and a serving specialist. They cannot attack.
And did you notice how fast that set went out to Megan Hodge? It seems as though Penn State has sped up its offense. Coach Rose said he wouldn't have minded doing that last year, but Glass has improved so much. She is capable of locating that set very well this year, and so they can really put pressure on other blockers.
3 kills for Hodge. And Penn State's going to dispute this point, and they have a very good beef because the ball went into the net, not into a Penn State blocker.
But both coaches were up. They both think they're right. Dunning stood up at first. Now he's arguing it.
They're going to switch it here and give it to Penn State.
I don't think that cleared. Hodge was all over it, but it actually has to hit her arms above the tape of the net for that to be considered a touch.
Good job by Joni Powell to check with Margie Ray, who had the better look at it over on that side. And the point goes to Penn State. They're within 1. Barbosa with an aggressive swing. Timeout here at the National Championship midway through game 1. Feluca Akinradawo with a kill, high-fiving her teammates. Feluca on the move when we come back. Back here at Arco Arena in Sacramento for the National Championship. Stanford with the edge over Penn State midway through game 1. Let's check in now with Kathy Nelson.
Thanks, Beth. You know, the holidays is always a busy time, but think about what Stanford middle Feluca Akinradawo went through this week. Not only did she have to prepare for this, she had to take finals like the rest of her Stanford teammates. But in addition to that, she had to pack her bags, put everything in storage because she's not going to return to Stanford for spring term. She's heading to Colorado Springs, where she has an opportunity to train with the national team. Hopes to be one of 12 that'll be wearing the red, white, and blue for the USA this summer in Beijing.
Kathy, she might need another bag or some more luggage to bring home all the hardware she's collected out here. An All-American award, and then last night the National Player of the Year award as well. Going to the Stanford middle, who is rotated out of the game right now. Kleinman off the block. Dorico got to it. Barbosa with the pass to Kehoe. Back to Alex Kleinman. Again, Holhouse digs it up.
Wow, what defense by Penn State.
And it pays off.
Holhouse and Dorico doing a phenomenal job there. Kleinman goes right over the top. Holhouse does what we call kind of a sprawl. She goes on the floor and saves it just 2 inches above the floor there.
Those signs said it all. Dig it, Dorico, and Berta digs the whole house. Penn State picks up another point, and we're tied up at 15-all.
And this is what we need to follow. Penn State getting back in the game while Akinradawo is still out in those weaker 3 rotations for Stanford.
That's 4 points already for Penn State with Akinradawo out.
So any opponent really hopes to get more of a plus advantage in those 3 rotations than they may lose with Akinradawo back in the front row.
+5 right now with Feluca sitting. And the Nittany Lions go up by 2 and a timeout called by John Dunning. Things going Penn State's way. One of the reasons why is a touch of glass. When we come back. Welcome back to the national championship match here in Sacramento. Penn State leading Stanford. Let's check in with Kathy Nelson.
Thanks, Beth. You know, these Penn State attackers get so much credit for their great offense, but a lot of the credit needs to go to sophomore setter because she has improved probably more than any player in the country. We're talking about Alicia Glass, and one of the reasons is her coach, Salima Rockwell. Used to be Salima Davidson, was a terrific player for Penn State, was a 3-time All-American setter, and she has taken Glass under her wing and done a terrific job of turning into not just a great athlete, but a great setter.
Sliding down the net, and it will go to Penn State. There is Salima Rockwell, a 3-time All-American setter for the Nittany Lions.
And it was when these 2 teams faced each other much earlier in this season that Glass was going through a bit of a tough time. She talked about it yesterday in the press conference, but gave her coach a lot of credit for talking her through. Coach Rhodes was thinking about using a 2-setter offense. She wasn't starting part of the time. Glass has really solidified, and that's a big reason why Penn State is in this final tonight.
Akinradawo comes back on for Stanford. Nicole Fawcett over the top of the block and did not get the touch point for the Cardinal.
And Glass had a little bit of a miscommunication. Coach Rose talked last year that he was disappointed she didn't make the All-Big Ten team. She took it as, well, he was disappointed in her, but he was really disappointed in the other coaches who didn't vote her onto the Big Ten. Took him a little while to get that straightened out.
And interesting, too, a little side note on both of the setters tonight, actually. The second generation of Title IX women, both of their mothers were their coaches when they were younger, Alicia Glass and Bryn Kehoe. And there is Bryn setting up Feluca, and there's no defense for that.
I was just going to say, Feluca Akinradawo back in the front row. That's her 4th kill, and she is so efficient that the Stanford Cardinal is efficient when she's in the front row, but you got to rotate in volleyball, and she's got to sit out and get cold, and that's when opponents are much happier not having to face her.
Glass dumps it over on 2. Good decision by the sophomore.
And you'll notice that she likes to use her right hand more than her left on that play. It makes it a little tougher for the blockers to stop her, and she's very effective with that right. But as soon as that right comes up, the blockers have to be thinking it's coming at us.
Kleinman gets the kill. The freshman doesn't seem affected by her first appearance here on the grand stage. 4 kills now for Alex.
And how about the digging show she put on the other night? 30 digs after getting 23 in the regional final against UCLA. The tallest player on the court playing some of the best defense.
Back-to-back career highs for her in the dig department. And another kill for Feluca to tie it up.
It's going to be like Penn State falls behind when Akinradawo comes in the front row. Then they go ahead when she's in the back row, and it's whoever's is where she's going to be at the end of the game. It's kind of like a fast break basketball or football game. Whoever has the ball at the end wins.
Penn State's in blue. Stanford is in white. The 3rd time in the last 10 years that these 2 titans of the volleyball court have met to decide the national championship. They split their first 2 matchups. And now the Cardinal and the Nittany Lions squaring off here in Arco Arena in Sacramento. Penn State on a 25-match win streak. Their last loss was in September to Stanford. They have not dropped a game through the entire NCAA tournament. Stanford, meanwhile, had its hands full in both their quarterfinal matchup with UCLA and then a nail-biter against USC in the semis. And Kehoe now able to dump it over. These are the only 2 programs that have appeared in all 27 NCAA tournaments. Stanford didn't have very far to go, and Penn State has come across country.
Although neither team had to travel at all in the first 4 rounds. They both hosted sub-regionals and regionals last 2 weeks.
As Penn State gets the kill. In fact, Stanford has been within the state of California for every single match they've played in the tournament against other California teams. It's been an interesting short road for them. Out of the back, Kleinman, right at Whole House. Glass sets it cross court to Hodge, and the block from Kehoe, and Gerard sends it back.
Nice block, but boy, was that a nice blind back set by Alicia Glass to get it out in a pretty good position for Hodge to put that ball away. But Kehoe and Gerard do her one better with a well-formed block, no space between their arms.
Bryn with the service error, the first ever freshman 4 years ago to set her team to a national championship, running a 5-1 offense.
And she and Gerard were starters and have been starters their whole career. And they're now in their third final in 4 years, and it's so competitive. That's amazing to be in almost every final of a career.
When you talk about the folks around the Stanford program, that's the first thing they say about Kehoe is her competitiveness and her fire. As Harmato scores in the middle.
You are right. She gives her mom a lot of credit for teaching her to hate losing more than enjoying winning. And it doesn't matter what game they played. When they went at it and when there was a loser, there wasn't some talk for a while. They were awfully serious with each other.
She's good enough to have earned an invitation to try out for the Olympic team and play with the national team next spring.
And she doesn't even know if it's as a setter or a libero or what, but Coach Dunning says, hey, you put a challenge in front of her, whatever position she's ready to go at it.
Now Barboza. She's got 1 kill so far in the match, hitting 167. Harmato crushes it.
You mentioned Barboza. I see that as another big story to watch here. Barboza's at times in this tournament been pressing a little bit, but Megan Hodge a little bit also. And so which of those two players can do better for their team could be a big factor in who wins, who loses.
Hodge right now is hitting below 100. So neither of them has caught fire yet, but Fawcett gets another kill. That's her 4th. And Penn State 26-23 over Stanford, +8 now for Penn State with Akinradwo on the bench. Armato, a 2-time All-American, hitting .494 and blocking 1.7 blocks per game, both second best in the nation. She hit .500 in their semifinal win against Cal. And similar to how that Cal match shaped up, they had a tight game 1 with the Bears and then rolled in games 2 and 3. It seemed like they really were able to feed off the confidence from that game 1 win.
And Harmato really struggled the last 2 years with health problems. Blew out an ACL 2 years ago, had a stress fracture in her left leg. That's the leg any right-hander jumps off of, just as if you would do a layup. You jump off the opposite leg. That's the hit that Akinradwo, Harmato, all those players love to hit that backslide. She couldn't jump off one leg last year. That certainly hurt them in the regionals.
Feluca is out right now for Stanford, but Waller gets the kill to make it a 2-point match. First to 30, must win by 2. Takes game 1, it's best 3 of 5, and Feluca's back out there. And the service error from Ailes.
You probably don't want to serve the ball out when you have Feluca Akinradwo on your side of the net and right at the front row. Want to have her there to help out on the block and hitting in transition.
16 errors now to just 1 ace in their 2 matches here. And Ariel Wilson with the crush.
And there's one of those passes. We've seen a few missed ones in the regional final against UCLA and a couple of against USC in a battle the other night from Barboza.
Kehoe goes to Waller, and she's rejected. Fawcett and Wilson side by side, and it's game point for the Nittany Lions.
Great left arm there by by Fawcett. Really strong arms across the net.
Armato serving. Kehoe to Kleinman, yes. 4 more game points lined up for Penn State here. This is Aaron Waller serving.
Ooh, that was out.
Hodge with the tip. Kehoe over to get it. Barboza back row. Chance now for Penn State. Glass to Wilson with the tip. Ailes pops it up. Barboza out of the back, no. Glass to Fawcett with the ripper for the win. 30-25, Penn State a winner in game 1. Laurie Wilson with 5 kills, Nicole Fawcett with 4 to lead the way as they held Stanford to just 159 hitting, and Fawcett with the winner. The opener goes to PSU. 30-25, Penn State taking game 1 over Stanford. And our best 3 of 5 for the national championship. Here is our Coke Zero game track.
Well, the big news is that Megan Hodge, we talked about Hodge and we talked about Barboza. Hodge is hitting under 100, Barboza barely over 100, so they're both struggling a little bit, maybe with nerves, even though they got to the final and should be able to play a little bit more loosely. Akinradawo and Harmato both above 700. So the real difference so far that I did not expect is that Ariel Wilson with 5 kills, hitting over 500, and Francie Gerard, the other middle blocker, the one where Penn State got a lot of its points is when Francie Gerard is in the front row, had 0 kills and is hitting minus 333 right now.
The difference in that game was 5 points. It was +5 for Penn State with Akinradawo on the bench. So somebody else will have to make some plays when she's out for Stanford. And Hodge climbs the ladder to rip that one.
Boy, you're not kidding. Climbing the ladder is right.
The numbers, look at the hitting percentages out of the gym for Harmato and Akinradawo, the top 2 hitters in the country. And perhaps a couple of middle blockers that'll be wearing the red, white, and blue for Team USA next summer.
Absolutely, and another thing to keep an eye on, remember, Erin Waller last year in the title game had her career game, highest kills for Stanford in their losing effort against Nebraska. So far struggling tonight.
Fawcett through the block for another big swing.
Fawcett with her 5th kill, and I love that corner shot she hit. Even though it didn't have a lot of spin, when she aims that far, that's a really safe play to make. You won't get blocked down.
Kehoe, when they need a point, she looks for Faluka.
And that's what's so amazing about Akinradawo. She was leading the team with 26 kills the other night, but it is so hard to be that efficient when everybody knows you're going to get the ball. You can get more blockers on her, and she's just unbelievable with what she's doing this season.
John Dunning talks about what tremendous vision she has that complement the speed with which she can play the game as Stanford gets another point.
Absolutely. On that last play, Harmato goes for the kill on the overpass, but you always have to be aware whether the setter is in the front row. Kehoe was that time, so she could block, jump, and block the ball, and she did that.
Cassidy Lichtman now on to serve. Fawcett, boy, that looked just like her last kill. Right between the hands of the blockers.
You're right, and the reason why is because that set is coming so fast out to the outside. Even Akinradawo, as fast as she is, isn't fast enough to close the gap between the block.
Harmato serving. They will go at Barboza, which was the strategy that USC employed in the semifinal. Kehoe to Kleinman coming out. Boy, she snuck out from behind Faluka.
Exactly right. Faluka made that play happen because she goes up, watch the blockers jump right here with Faluka. Wilson comes down. Faluka has, or Kleinman has a one-on-one. She gets the easy kill, now going for the ace.
Kleinman will serve to Hodge and dumped over by Glass. That's her 2nd kill of the match.
It's interesting, Coach Rose was talking about scheduling. He says, you know, if you have a good team, you owe it to them to play against the best. That's one of the reasons why he scheduled Stanford. In fact, he chose a neutral site because he knew if we want to win this championship, we're probably going to have to play in Sacramento against a Stanford on a neutral site. He also scheduled Nebraska, Texas, all of the great teams in the country that he could find early in preseason play before they got to the Big Ten conference schedule.
And just like you want to do when you're playing against the best during the regular season, you may not like what you see about your team on that particular day, but it's going to help you later on in the year.
And he was funny talking about teams who want to schedule him in 09. He said, look, I'm not buying those green bananas. I want 08, and nobody wants to schedule him in 08. He's not losing any key seniors. This is going to be a scary squad. They'll be even more favored next year to win maybe a consecutive championship if they win here tonight.
And both these teams have certainly earned the right to be here. Stanford during the year has beaten 16 ranked opponents, the most in the country. The second most was racked up by Penn State with 13 wins over ranked opponents. They face just about everybody out there. As Penn State responds with the kill, and we are tied up here in game 2.
Seeing so far, Penn State, their quick hitters really liking to hit it back to their left. We call that a cutback shot, where instead of going to the right sideline that they're aiming for, they hit it back the way they came. Stanford's been unable to stop those cutback hits so far.
DeRico serving. Kehoe looks to Girard with the tip.
And there's another case of the speed of the set, creating space between the blockers. Watch right here. Wilson just doesn't have enough time to get over. Easy put away for Girard, which happens to be her first one. That's right. One of the reasons why Stanford struggled game 1.
First kill with Akinradwo out right now. They'll go back to Francie. She's blocked. Barboza. Not much on that one. Tries the overpass and gets it.
Well, Barboza during this tournament, if she doesn't get everything lined up right, she's been hitting some off-speed shots. We call them roll shots. She hit one there, and I'm a little surprised that the Penn State defenders were caught unawares, because she's been hitting a significant number of those. Some would like to hit her, just see her swing away. Hodge has been doing a little of that, too.
Ariel Wilson continues to shine. The freshman, 6 kills, just 1 error so far on her 10 swings. Roberta Holhouse with the tough serve, sets up Penn State right here. Harmato, Girard able to get a piece of it. Barboza, the block goes wide, point Stanford.
And that's the same strong, aggressive swing that Barboza took to end in game 5 to earn match point against USC 2 days ago. That's the swing I think she's most effective on, when she goes really aggressively, with her 5th kill there.
Flash to Blair Brown. Snuck in behind Harmato as all the blockers were following Krista to the outside. Not only are they dangerous as hitters, but boy, they draw a lot of attention, Harmato and Faluka, even when they don't get the set. Kehoe looks to Kleinman. The pass from Price. Hodge had to get her footwork right, and Harmato tips it.
But you could see Hodge struggling a little, getting her footwork on that. She was expecting the set to go a little faster. She really likes that fast outside set, so she walked in a little bit, didn't have speed on her approach.
Hodge with another tip.
Off another missed pass from Barboza. Expect Penn State to continue to go at her. The good thing for Stanford is the more Barboza, there she goes with the overpass, the more Barboza struggled with the passing, the better she hit against UCLA in the regional finals.
Ailes will set up Barboza out of the back. Falls onto the Stanford side. Back to Cynthia in the middle. Headshot off of Hodge and out.
If she keeps doing that, aggressive swings like that, Barboza, I think Stanford's going to be in great shape in this match. But when she's tentative and hits those softer shots, those roll shots in the middle, that's when the other team's going to pick her up more often.
Just 1 kill in the opener, 5 already for Cynthia here in game 2. So perhaps she is the one they will look to with Faluka out. As Akinradwo has returned, they actually picked up a point with Faluka on the bench during that rotation while she was down. They'll go to it right away, well rested, and through the floor from Akinradwo.
And I think that might have been through the arms of Armato. Let's see this again from the end zone. Watch how, nope, just went around the left arm of hers. But look at how fast she gets that arm around. Lightning arm swing, and that's why she's so hard to stop.
Lichtman. Fawcett was set a little wide.
Boy, that was a really quick call by the referee. So quick that I thought she was going to call that the ball hit the antenna and dropped to the floor. But then it appeared like she changed her mind and said, nope, that hit the block and then fell to the floor. Let's see if we can get a better view here. Nope, she made the right call. It went off Kehoe's right arm and out of bounds. Really good save by Fawcett there. That was not a well-placed set.
With the left hand, she had no recourse but to try and use the block. Kehoe comes back to win that joust.
I have not seen her lose a joust all season long. She's against two of the strongest players in the country there with Fawcett and Wilson, and she outmuscles them both.
Good hang time from Bryn to stay up there with him. Ties it up at 12. Tight throughout game 2 after Penn State took the opener 30-25, and Fawcett with the swing.
And that was a perfect placement for Fawcett to hit. She gets her 8th kill there because she was able to get the ball in a good location. Hits that same shot we saw before, hitting the deep corner. That's a very effective shot for her.
50 miles an hour on the spike speed from Fawcett on that last kill. Free ball, Penn State going to work. Blair Brown.
There was a touch. That's a good call. It hit the digger.
Rookie adjusted her footwork at the last moment to get that.
Way to get there by Brown, sneaking after that backslide off the one leg.
Glass down to get the tip. Fawcett blocked by Faluca, who was over in plenty of time to get that one.
Well, when you have Kehoe blocking and Akinradawo blocking, you have to hit at Kehoe. If the ball is in a position, that's a very risky shot to try to go past Akinradawo, who is 4 or 5 inches taller than Kehoe.
Faluca serving now with the lead. Fawcett, nobody up for that one. Nicole Fawcett now double-digit kills with 10 to lead everybody in the match.
And in fact, the lineup switched a little, so she in this game is hitting more often against Kehoe and getting some good kills.
Former National Freshman of the Year and current All-American Nicole Fawcett taking charge for Penn State in game 2. Here at Sacramento, Arco Arena, Penn State winning game 1 and with the lead midway through game 2. It's best 3 of 5 to decide the national championship. Somewhat of a home court advantage here in Northern California for the Cardinal, as their fans have turned out in force. There's a good group that have also made the trek from Happy Valley as Fawcett gets her 2nd ace of the match.
You can see how much heat she gets on it, both hitting at the net and the jump serve. She one time gave a former teammate a concussion, hit it right past the block. She blacked out for a few seconds when she took one to the noggin.
Climbing out of the back, Glass dug it up, and the double contact called on Megan Hodge, who has worked awful hard with Russ Rose this year to stay in matches when she moves to the back row. And Russ, the National Coach of the Year, he's number 3 on the all-time wins list. He's got the best winning percentage in college volleyball history on the women's side.
And in fact, it baffled me a little with the great program that he runs. It's shocking that it took them 8 years to get back to the title match after winning his first and only title in 1999.
The last 2 years, they were favored to return to the national scene, but a couple of Krista Armato injuries late in the year aided the opposition a little bit and prevented the Nittany Lions from getting here. And the point for Penn State, they're up a couple.
That's the set that Hodge loves most, because she doesn't time the high ones so well. She just loves to come barreling in and transfer that speed into jump. Really effective against the block on that low set to the outside.
Hodge and Barboza have really settled down nicely here in game 2, both more effective with their swings. Kleiman with the pass to Kehoe. They'll go to Waller for the tip. Great gets by the Penn State defense, and Armato puts it away.
Nice defensive display by both teams there, but Waller trying to get out of trouble with the tip, and just saved nicely there by DeRico.
Glass practically sliding underneath to the other side of the net on the second touch. And it's a 3-point advantage now for the Nittany Lions.
And remember, Akinradawo is out right now. When Gerard comes, she doesn't draw as much attention from the other blockers. Wilson or Armato in that case can go release and set up a better block on Barbosa on the outside.
Just like in game one, Penn State makes a move with Feluca out of the match. And a timeout call by John Dunning with the Nittany Lions in front. The national championship match in Sacramento. Penn State winning game one. They are leading here in game two. The NCAA Men's College Cup continues from Cary, North Carolina with the championship match tomorrow. Coverage beginning at 3 Eastern on ESPN2. For more information on the 2007 Men's College Cup, go to ncaasports.com. The official online home for all 88 NCAA championships. There will be a new national champion crowned in men's soccer. Wake Forest and Ohio State to meet tomorrow, just as there was a new women's champ in Southern California. Last weekend, they beat Florida State. Waller sliding behind for the kill. Let's check in with Kathy Nelson.
Thanks, Beth. I listened to the Stanford huddle, and Coach John Dunning and assistant coach Denise Corlett really trying to tinker with their block a little bit, want those middles to release earlier and close that seam. Also talked to their team about matching this great defense they're seeing on the Penn State side. They want a little bit of that on their side.
You are right, Kathy, because Penn State is not known for its defense. During the regular season, number 292 out of 325 Division I programs. Part of that is because they're so good on the block, the ball never gets back to the backcourt. But if Penn State is out digging you, you are going to be in trouble. Stanford must do a better job, and they are very good at that normally. Digging in the tournament over 19 times per game.
They are being outdug as well as out-hit so far in this match, and as a result, Penn State with the advantage. Alex Kleinman puts it away. 7th kill now for Alex.
And this is, I would think, where Stanford really wants to make a move. Akinradawo just got back in the game in the front row. See if she can turn it on. She's been blocking well in this tournament.
Armato tools the solo block. Point Penn State.
And the key word there is solo. When you have a one-on-one situation, the hitter should win that most of the time. Akinradawo had no time to get there. Kleinman couldn't beat Armato on that matchup.
Kehoe to Feluca. Fawcett tries to get it out of press row. Point Stanford. We are inside Arco Arena in Sacramento for the NCAA Volleyball Championship, presented on ESPN by Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Stanford gunning for a 7th national title. Penn State looking for its 2nd ever. Beth Mowens, Karch Kirai, and Kathy Nelson with you. Penn State in blue and Stanford in white. These two have been hovering around the top of the national polls all year long, along with Nebraska, a team that was knocked out in the region final this year and has left these two powerhouses, the two remaining titans this year in the game. And the block from Glass and Ariel Wilson.
And Glass is one of the better blocking setters in the country. Tough matchup there. Kleinman decided to hit it back down the line, but Glass puts up a really good block.
Kehoe looks to Kleinman, no chance that time for Glass. Kleinman standing up has an 8-inch advantage, much less once she gets up into the air with that big reach of hers over Glass. And now Alex with a good serve. Hodge out of the back. This is Kehoe looking to Feluca. Her tip returned. Back outside to Barbosa with 3 blockers up. She still got it by.
And she is being more aggressive throughout this second game. Now only down by 2. She is a much better attacker, Barbosa is, when she swings high and hard off that block. More effective there. Pulled her hitting percentage way up this game.
Just 1 kill in the first game, 6 of them here in the second. Wilson isolated again, sliding over. Alicia Glass, the sophomore, been their starting setter the last 2 seasons. Akinradov is blocked. Faluka, the National Player of the Year, is going to get another attempt and makes good.
She got stopped the first time, so she made a smart adjustment that second time by taking a little off it for her 9th kill. They were expecting her to bring the heat a second time, and it just went between the arms.
Will not return to Stanford in the spring. Instead, will train with the U.S. Olympic national team, rather, in hopes of making the Olympic team for Beijing, and then would come back to Stanford if she does make that club next fall to continue her studies.
Boy, how does she improve on this year, hitting over 500, but going to the Olympics, if she does, that would be a great international experience for her. She would come back, I think, and be even better.
She is just a 1/100th of a percentage point away from the NCAA single season hitting percentage record. She will probably finish her career as the best hitter ever in the college game.
And keep in mind, even if she doesn't get that record, doing it against so many of the best teams in the country is an amazing feat.
Free ball for Penn State. Glass looks to Hodge. Gabby Ailes digs it up. The freshman walk on, but then the Penn State block meets Kleinman coming out of the back.
Well, Kleinman coming down the middle there has 2 choices to go to either sideline. She goes to the one where Hodge is camped out. Watch, Hodge gets in there, helps out Wilson. They can form a better block. Needed to turn it back toward the other sideline. Coach Rose talked about it earlier this season. He said, Hodge isn't that great with criticism, and I'm not great with praise. So it sometimes can be a little bit of a tough relationship, but he said, I think she knows I've got her back, and I really care about her wanting to be a great player. And Doug Beal of USA Volleyball, head of USA Volleyball, said she has a very bright future ahead of her. Even though she's only a sophomore and she may not play in this Olympics, we could be seeing the makings of a great Olympic team from many of the players, including Hodge, on the court tonight.
And Megan so far with 7 kills. Both of her parents played college volleyball. She's got a very high IQ for the game.
And that's not the only high thing. She watch her go right over the block so often when she is, look, that is a very steep hit there, and she hit it with a great reach. Her elbow is straight. When a hitter reaches with that straight arm, it's just very difficult to stop, along with the fact that she's 6'3" and jumps so high off the ground.
She touches 10-8, which means she is above the rim when she elevates to the zenith. Kehoe looks to Barbosa for the kill. Cynthia's heating up now. 8th kill of the match.
See if she can get, she's the team leader in aces. See if she can light them up a little. Down by 2. Would be a great time for an ace.
And instead gives Penn State the point. So now they are 3 points away from taking a commanding 2-0 lead in this championship match. Kate Price, the senior from Fraser, Michigan, has battled injuries throughout her career, primarily a server and one of their best passers. And Megan Hodge finds the deep corner for the kill.
But it started with Whole House on defense, making a wonderful stop on Waller. Then the transition, and you see how Hodge loves to just come barreling in like a freight train and hit that ball to the deep corner.
Kehoe looks to Gerard, and she uses the block. Once again, Akinradov out, and now will return and get back in there to try and salvage game 2 for the Cardinal.
If Stanford had to be down by 3, they'd much rather have Akinradov coming in, just like now. And things are lined up for a comeback for them.
Fawcett out of the back with the big swing. And 4 game points for Penn State. Megan Hodge to serve. Brings a dandy, and then Penn State caught flat-footed.
What a great serve and a wasted play. Ailes just sticking an arm out. Nobody was even within 10 feet of that ball. She made a wonderful play on that. Penn State has to be ready for that free ball.
Another game point now on serve receive this time from Lichtman. Dodge the pass to Glass. They're going to go to Fawcett. Dug up by Stanford. Kleinman blocked, and it's down, and Penn State takes a 2-0 lead in the national championship match over top-seeded Stanford.
Penn State Nittany Lions 30.
Penn State on top, 2-0. They still have not dropped a game this entire NCAA tournament. That's 17 in a row.
And Stanford has not been down 0-2 all season.
New territory for the top seed, and let's send it over now to Kathy Nelson.
Thanks, Beth. Russ, over the year, people probably wouldn't say Penn State is a great defensive team based on statistics. Is this the best defense you've seen your team play all year?
Well, I don't know if it's the best defense, but it's important defense right now because we're playing against a great team in a big match. So I think that it's not just making the dig, it's being able to convert, get a quality swing out of it. I think that's probably the most important thing right now.
Well, I know you're never satisfied. You're up 2-0, but what things do you want to see your team do better here in Game 3?
Well, I mean, I think we're passing the ball well, and that gives us an opportunity. You know, I think we can do a little better job identifying the attackers, but I mean, you got to be real pleased at this point in time. So we'll talk a little bit, come out, and got to play hard. We know what we have to deal with. It's a great opponent, and the crowd seems to be a local crowd, so you know we're going to have to push our way through. But we've done well the last couple of games.
Well, you're off to a good start now. Thank you, Coach Rose.
It has been done twice before that a team has come down from 0-2, but Stanford will be really up against it with a block the likes of Penn State, up 2-0 in the final. 30-25 and then 30-26 in favor of Penn State. And Stanford coach John Dunning is now with Kathy Nelson.
Thanks, Beth. Coach Dunning, you're obviously in a tough spot, down 0-2 to a very good Penn State team. What did you talk to your team about during the break?
Well, you know, it seems like maybe we came out a little bit tentative for some reason. I don't understand. I know they're all excited. We have to raise our level of play. I mean, Penn State's playing great. We have to pass and serve to start with and then just be aggressive and go for it.
Well, you did tip a lot of balls in games 1 and 2, so is that aggressiveness going to be a key to you guys getting back into this match?
Oh, I think it has to be. We have to make them work harder than that. They're doing a great job defensively, and we have to change something up. Otherwise, they're just going to keep digging balls.
Well, good luck to you in the next one, and
thank you.
Send it back to you guys.
Thank you, Kathy. Here is our Coke Zero game track so far tonight. And the numbers look like this.
You know, hitting .397 against this great Stanford team. Wow. That is trouble. And like you see at the bottom there, the +7 points with Feluca Akinwaduwo out of the game. Akinwaduwo, as we expected here in Game 3, starting in left front. Stanford wants to get her the most opportunities. You get that by starting her in the front row, and then she'll be able to help her team out more, just like they started her in Game 5 against USC, that critical 5th game semifinal match.
And it's not an injury situation, it's simply the rotation. When she's in the back row, she goes over to the bench. The hitting numbers continue to be through the roof for Harmato and Akinwaduwo so far. Penn State in blue wins this game, they win the championship. Stanford in white, they've got to win 3 straight to take home the title, and Penn State, the aggressor.
And this is where it's a little trouble for Stanford. They have Akinwaduwo in the front row. They get her the ball, but it's not quite where she needs it. Can't get good lumber on that one, and Penn State comes up with it.
Kehoe, long way to go for that one. Tough set. Glass over on 2 for the kill. That's the 3rd time she's done that in the match.
And it starts with Stanford not controlling the serve and taking care of the ball. That first pass goes over the net, and so Stanford again can't get the ball to Akinwaduwo.
Kehoe sets Waller sliding behind for the kill. Trying to bring a little more emotion on the Stanford side of the net. Waller checks out Cassidy Lichtman on to serve, the freshman from Poway, California. One of just a handful of California natives on both these rosters. They have representation from all over the country.
And it seems as though there's more spread in the country in terms of All-Americans, too. Only 6 of the top 36, the first, second, and third teams from California. Florida well represented, Michigan with 3 each. It's getting more and more spread out.
It was the craziest tournament in NCAA history. The most seeds eliminated in the first 2 rounds ever, with 6 of the 16 top seeds all going out. There were a lot of volleyball fans that thought Nebraska and Texas might be here, but on a dark day for the Big 12, they were both eliminated in the regional final by Pac-10 teams. And at the end of the day, Karch, it's like it's always been. The Pac-10 had 3 of the 4 teams here, and we end up with 2 of the top programs in history duking it out in the final.
In fact, it was 3 out of 4, 3 out of 4, 3 out of the last 4 years. Yeah. The Pac-10 has had that alignment. Very impressive by the Pac-10 conference.
Now in Southern California, where the other 2 teams here, they were both eliminated in the semis. And the Pac-10 has, in fact, won 5 of the last 6 titles. Nebraska broke through last year to win it.
And, in fact, Nebraska bookended both of those. 2000 and 2006, Nebraska with a great program, upset by Cal last Saturday in the regional final.
Alicia Glass, the quick set to Arielle Wilson. There's been a lot of talk all year about the top 2 freshmen in the country, and Alex Kleinman here with Stanford and Julianne Fawcett at Texas. But I think late in the season, you got to put Wilson in the discussion as well. It's a threesome.
Yes, you do. Russell's not going to be minding having her back for 3 more years.
Francie Gerard, the senior, trying to extend her season a little longer tonight. To finish up her career with what would be a 2nd national championship. Here's the other senior and a starter on that 04 championship squad, Bryn Kehoe. Fawcett long.
No spin on that ball, but Penn State got the offensive setup it liked. Good pass, just that there was not any snap of the wrist by Fawcett. Flies out of bounds.
Fawcett and Hodge with double-digit kills for Penn State. Kleinman and Akinratowo in double figures for Stanford so far. Fawcett's going to get another rip at it. Ailes with the pass to Kehoe. They look to Waller, blocked by Fawcett. Kleinman with the tip and a chance for Penn State. Wilson calling for it in the middle, no. Kehoe looks to Kleinman, yes.
And you can see Kleinman coming in off the sideline that time with her 11th kill. Penn State has to move that block in. Watch, it comes about 5 feet in. There's a lot of angle to hit at. She hit inside the block, but to the deep corner. That's far. The block was set too far outside that play.
Wilson had the right angle to go deep into the corner.
Wilson's been having a great NCAA championship round. That was her 9th kill. She was already hitting over 500 before those last 2 kills. Really done a nice job in some pressure situations as a freshman for Penn State.
Arielle Wilson, just the 2nd freshman ever to lead the Big Ten Conference in blocks. Gets another one there. And you've got to give an assist to the senior whose starting job she took earlier in the year. That's Melissa Walbridge, a former All-American herself, has been a tremendous mentor for Arielle Wilson, to the point where they'll watch a lot of tape together, and Walbridge will help out Wilson with the scouting reports, and they have worked well together.
And it was against this Stanford team that the switch was made, and Wilson got her first start. I think Coach Rose said, my wife said, what are you doing? We got this great player. You're playing such a young one. Well, it's pulling an All-American, and look how it's worked out.
Boy, a lot of credit goes to Melissa, the senior from Yardley, PA, for really keeping her head in there and being a good leader for this team. Stanford thought they had the point, and now they can celebrate.
Stanford so far this game doing a much better job of getting blocks. Not all necessarily stuff blocks, but we saw some long rallies where their hands are controlling the ball. They're able to get more swings in transition, so they are being more aggressive with their blocking.
Glass looks to Blair Brown.
There's another aggressive play where they keep it alive.
Free ball. Hodge, nope. Kehoe was there. Barboza out of the back.
That's when Barboza's her best.
Waller missed it. Point Penn State.
That was Barbosa's best hit of the match. Even though it came up, wow, was she aggressive from like 12 feet off the net. Stanford doing a much better job of putting pressure on Penn State this game.
All tied up at 8 here in game 3. Kehoe, look at her check the defense and then feed Waller, and she gets the kill. That quick snap of the neck to look over on the other side of the net from Bryn Kehoe.
That's what every good setter does. She wants to see where the 3 blockers are aligned, because sometimes they'll switch positions, and she's trying to go for the best matchup, the best mismatch.
Brown, solo block was up but missed it wide. Point Stanford to go up by a couple.
Well, whatever Coach Dunning said in the locker room, it seemed to work. He wanted more aggressiveness out of his team. He's getting it here in game 3.
And the rest of the players, Karch, are helping to pick up the slack. We talked about it was +7 in favor of Penn State with Akinradawo out of the game through those first 2 games. Here in game 4, it is in game 3 rather, it's +4 for Stanford with Feluca out. And she's back in there, and Barbosa's feeling it now.
Boy, if she gets hot, it is going to be a long night, and that's what Stanford wants, is a long night after falling down 0-2. But that great snap, high, hard, over the block, into the deep corner, is going to be a very effective shot for her, even against a great blocker like Hermato.
9th kill for Barbosa, hitting close to 400 now in the match. Hodge with the tip, pancaked up by Lichtman. And the official's flag went up in the back.
I thought she got that. That was a great move, and she got up so quickly to get the 3rd ball over.
The official said nope, she did not get her hand underneath it.
Let's see here. Oh, the crowd saw it on the overhead shot, and it looked like she got it.
Barbosa. Make sure there's no doubt about that one.
Well, Coach Dunning talked about it. His team a little bit tentative there with Barbosa's 10th kill. In some of the other rounds, it's almost like they felt they were putting a little pressure on themselves just to get back to the final, and he was hoping and expecting that they'd be nice and loose for this final. Barbosa playing like it right now, and Akinradawo coming up with a big block.
Karch, what's the biggest problem for a team that's up 2-0 coming out for game 3, knowing that they're so close to the championship?
Well, they're thinking, hey, we're hitting 400, we can taste it.
Yep.
Sometimes going to forget how to take care of business and take risky swings, hitting at Akinradawo instead of Kehoe when you have a much taller blocker in the middle. So not only does a setter have to look across the net and see who is positioned where on the block, but the hitter's got to be aware of that too.
Stanford by a couple as we approach the midway point in game 3, which is must win for the Cardinal. Akinradawo with another kill.
And you can also see Penn State's not coming up with nearly as many defensive plays because the Stanford Cardinal, they're swinging harder. There's less time to react for those Penn State defenders, that second line of defense in the backcourt.
Hodge with the pass to Glass, back to Megan. Lichtman able to keep it alive. Stanford now on the defensive. Glass right at Lichtman, pulls up another one. And then the miscue.
I think Akinradawo was thinking, and that's where it hurts not to have your libero on the court, but Akinradawo was thinking, okay, Barbosa's probably going to take this. I don't play that much backcourt here anyway, but Lichtman, really good volleyball IQ. She was all over that shot, came up with it, but Stanford can't take advantage.
She's been playing some good defense, and now Akinradawo goes out of the match for Stanford. Kehoe, Barbosa out of the back, did not get the touch.
But even though she missed that by a foot, I think she's much better when she's being really aggressive. Forget the tipping and all that. And most of this game has been thoroughly just whacking the ball there. That's good for them.
Penn State's block slowed that down. Fawcett dug up by Barbosa. Back to Alex. Rolls it over the top of the block. Stanford with the lead midway through game 3, trying to extend this championship match. Inside Arco Arena, the NCAA Volleyball National Championship match, Penn State and Stanford. Each side with 3 first-team All-Americans out on the floor right now. Beth Mowens, Karch Kirai, and Kathy Nelson with you. Penn State taking games 1 and 2. And Stanford now in a must-win 3 straight to take home the title. Kleinman. Now Brown against a couple of blockers, and that never made it across. Both of these clubs have been in every NCAA tournament. Stanford with 6 national championships. Penn State's 1 title came in 1999 over Stanford in a 3-0 sweep. And Kehoe with the ace. And Karch, all the emotion is on the Stanford side of the net right now.
It really is, with the ace there by Kehoe. Penn State's hitting percentage has dropped dramatically to 167 this 3rd game. It's because the Stanford Cardinal are serving tougher, getting aces like that, blocking better, and digging better.
And Kathy, what did you just hear in the Penn State huddle?
Well, Russ Rose, as he's known to do, got on his players pretty hard about the fact that they just weren't playing well. And he said, you know, guys, we're playing terrible. We're only 2 points down. Of course, that's grown now to 5 points down. Probably going to be a little bit animated again during this timeout.
Stanford out in front here in game 3. Back after this. Inside Arco Arena in Sacramento, the NCAA Volleyball Championship presented on ESPN by Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Penn State winning the first couple of games. And Bryn Kehoe with her 3rd ace in this game.
In a row. Going right at Holhouse, who has not shown any signs of weakness till now.
Penn State 1 game away from the championship. Stanford trying to force at least a game 4 here, and Fawcett long.
Boy, everything going right for Stanford there. Waller all over that ball, should not have put it back over the net. Fawcett with a free swing, open net, and hits it out.
8 swings in this game for Fawcett without a kill, after coming up with 11 tallies in the first 2 games. And finally, Megan Hodge, and look at the emotion from the soft-spoken Hodge right there.
Trying to light a fire there after dominating Stanford those first 2 games, down by 6 here.
Kehoe to Waller, off the antenna, point Penn State.
Last year in this title match, Waller had a tremendous match, kill leader for Stanford. She's been very good for them throughout the NCAA tournament. A little bit of a slow start for her tonight.
Fawcett, another tough serve. Gives Penn State the opportunity. Hodge answering her own call with a big swing there.
Boy, she got a slow start, but is she hot right now? The kill from the backcourt, now the kill from the front court, right over both Stanford blockers. And in fact, Waller comes out with the substitution, and Alex Fisher comes in the game, trying to make a change.
The tip by Francie Gerard. The rest of the Stanford players have really picked up the slack well here in game 3, with Feluca out of the match, which she is right now.
Playing better defense, more aggressive on the blocking, smarter blocking, get more blockers in front of every Penn State hitter.
Service error from Kleinman. Roberta Holhouse, the junior, homeschooled in Maryland. And Gerard again.
And you can see a lot of fire from Kehoe too. She will do that sometimes, screaming and getting her teammates going. 5th kill for Gerard there. Kehoe this is one of the teams with the best distribution in offense in the whole country. But nothing they can do to stop that Hodge hit.
Boy, she is feeling it right now. 14 kills for Megan Hodge. The sophomore, 2-time All-American from Durham, North Carolina, last year's National Freshman of the Year. Feluca back into the game. She'll get a touch. Climbing with the pass to Kehoe. Right back to Akadratowicz. Great get by Dorico. Free ball, Stanford. Now it's Barbosa's turn. All the way cross court. Hodge tried the tip. Not far enough.
Well, you see how well Hodge has been hitting, but those last two swings, she didn't get herself, work hard enough to get herself in position to make a good swing. Hits a soft one, Stanford's all over that. Hits a tip into the net, Stanford would have gotten that up even if it crosses.
Lichtman serving. They continue to go after Holthouse. There she is with the right footwork in the right location.
And when it's a scramble play, that's probably one of her weaknesses. One of her few weaknesses is that she has to work harder to get herself in that same kind of position in transition plays.
Kehoe looks to Faluka, try to tip it around the block. What a job by Akinradawo to find where the arms were and avoid them.
When there's a two-person block against her, she'll recognize that. Coach Dunning says she sees the block better than anybody else I've ever seen, or else she's the luckiest person I've ever seen, because she reacts and sees those open spots better than any hitter in the country. That's why she is the most effective and most efficient hitter in the country, but Harmato right behind.
And that is Fawcett's first kill of this game, now a dozen in the match. Hodge leads everybody with 15. 3 Cardinal players in double figures, led by Kleinman and Akinradawo. Kara Callahan on to serve. Her second appearance of the night. Fawcett, no. Sent back by Akinradawo and Kehoe.
Well, Fawcett has a choice there. I can hit, but I have to recognize that Akinradawo is up on me, or I could just stay down, pass it to my setter. We run a whole new offense. We have Ariel Wilson right there. She's been really effective. She made the wrong choice on that one. It's tough when she had no approach. She's jumping without any run up to the net.
Fawcett, no. Barboza let that one by. And the Cardinal closing in on game 3. And a timeout called by Penn State. Stanford facing a must-win situation now the rest of the night after dropping games 1 and 2.
And remember, they got all the way to this point last year. That's been a big motivation for them all throughout this season. We want to get back to the final, but we don't want to just get back there. We want to win this time after losing. They even won the first game and lost the next 3 to Nebraska in 2006.
That's how we figure out what a player is hitting, the math involved behind it. And 500 is extremely good. Half the time she attacks, she gets a kill out of it. And error-free, I believe, to this point for Faluka.
Yeah, because she could have 12 kills and 12 errors, and that doesn't help her team nearly as much as keeping the ball in play on those ones that don't go down for a point for Stanford.
Fawcett, yes. Penn State lurking.
Smarter hit that time by Fawcett to aim. All hitters always want to aim in the court, and that one before, she just hit so hard with so little spin it flew out of bounds.
Kehoe looks to Alex Kleinman, who crushes it.
Boy, this is a fun display to watch. It's just one power play after another from all of these players who we may see in the 2012 Olympics, some of whom may even be in Beijing. But what a display of this future Olympic talent here.
Being enjoyed by a tremendous crowd here at Arco Arena in Sacramento. There were 3 California teams here. And Penn State, the Party Crashers. And another ace by Kehoe. That's her 4th of this game.
She is getting a lot of movement on that ball, and there looks like there's a bigger space there between Holthouse and Hodge, and some trouble in terms of communication between those two.
Kehoe down to pick it up. Now Barboza out of the back. The bump to Hodge. Long, and it's game point for Stanford.
Hodge is most best off when she's aggressive. She wasn't that time. It goes out of bounds.
Fawcett got it. Ends another good serving run from Bryn Kehoe. And They've still got a handful of game points to try and fend off here, or we are headed to game 4. Kleinman can't end it there. Hodge. Penn State stays in it. 16 kills now for Megan. And that'll do it. Life for Stanford. They stay alive to force game 4 to decide the national championship. Back to Sacramento with more volleyball right after this. And an interesting turnaround in that game 3. Stanford behind a tremendous service game from Bryn Kehoe and some good defense on Nicole Fawcett. And they were able to keep Penn State quiet and the senior taking charge.
She really did, and she was going at the libero for Penn State. Holhouse, who was just not able to control 4 reception errors that third game. Penn State has to take care of the ball better if it wants to get that momentum back. You could feel it suck away from them and go right over to the Stanford side.
And here is a look at Kehoe in succession. She had 3 of them in a row and then came up to serve again late in that game to pick up another one.
And you can see Holhouse just having a lot of trouble there, either with communication and also just with the ball drifting around on that knuckleball that Bryn Kehoe serves so well.
The rest of the Stanford team did a much better job when Feluca Akinradawa rotated out of the game, and also nothing on the stat sheet from Krista Harmato for Penn State in that game.
Very quiet for her. Penn State, when you're not controlling the serve, you can't get the ball close to the net, and so you can't get the ball to Harmato. So Penn State has to take care of that ball, and I can see now that Penn State has changed its lineup a little. Akinradawa is still at left front, but Penn State rotated around.
Stanford in white, Penn State in blue. And again, the Nittany Lions a game away from the national championship. Stanford must win to force a game 5. And how about the numbers for the Cardinal? They did not have an ace in the semis with 10 errors, and they have turned that around completely here in the final. They have yet to find an answer for the fired up Megan Hodge.
Yep, Stanford brought in Alex Fisher instead of Aaron Waller, trying to get a little more offense and maybe some more blocking, but hasn't helped yet. Hodge really hot right now.
Last year she struggled against Washington on the road in the region final and admitted that she was intimidated by that scene. She let outside things get into her head and get into the match, and she really wanted to prove this year that she had matured from that and was going to become a big-time player.
And we could see it in game 3 when she got some of those kills and she was screaming and yelling and trying to get her team going, but there's nothing she can do to stop that. Akinradawa turning it back to her left, bouncing it straight down. No defender can come up with that one. You'd have to play literally right under the net, and then you're not covering any amount of ground.
Bounced up to the rafters, tied at 2 early in game 4. Hodge, blocked by Kehoe.
Hodge been having a lot of success against Kehoe, but she just tries to hit this too straight down, too sharp a trajectory, going for the impressive kill, and you got to go and try to hit the last 5 feet of court.
Kehoe with 6 kills. She's been involved in 6 blocks, and she's got 5 aces. And Barboza got a touch. Point Stanford.
Barboza in the regional final was breaking out the primal scream when she was hitting against UCLA and hitting really effectively. Led her team in that game 4 victory last Saturday at Stanford Regional.
Brown, the freshman, gets a kill. Out of Purcellville, Virginia. And now Price will serve. Kehoe looks to Feluca. Tremendous velocity.
Watch how Akinradwo is going to try and hit that gap. That's one of the areas that every hitter goes at, and that time down the line around the outside blocker there, Megan Hodge.
14 kills now for Feluca. Kleinman tried to push it deep. Free ball. Kehoe back to Feluca, blocked by Harmato. Feluca again, this time on the inside, no. Another opportunity for the Cardinal. Kehoe will go to Kleinman, yes. Penn State's working awfully hard just to try and stay in points, much less go on the offensive.
And still not having success getting the ball to Harmato. She's now in middle front. We'll see if they can get a better pass. Try to get her. That pass was off the net, so she was not an option.
Barboza with some good defense. The bump to Hodge, really had to cut that one, and Feluca was waiting on it.
Ball set so far out of bounds there that Hodge had no choice but to hit at Akinradwo, who was waiting to eat it up.
Penn State's got to shake some cobwebs. They call the timeout as Stanford has grabbed control of this match here in Game 4. Back in Sacramento in our national championship match, Stanford trying to even things up here in Game 4. The NCAA Men's College Cup continues tomorrow from Cary, North Carolina, 3 o'clock Eastern kickoff on ESPN2. For more information on the Men's College Cup, go to ncaasports.com, the official online home for all 88 NCAA championships. And the first time in the final for both the Buckeyes and the Demon Deacons. And an interesting little aside, Ohio State has the largest enrollment of any BCS school. Wake Forest, the smallest enrollment. And Krista Harmato, we haven't heard from her in a while, and she just rung the bell on that one.
Boy, did we hear from her on that. Straight down the line. Feluca Akinradwo had some problem with her glasses there. And so she threw them aside. Always plays with protective goggles on. Playing without right now.
Hodge out of the back. Penn State aggressive out of that timeout.
And the reason Akinradwo plays with those glasses on, she's so tall and jumps so high, she gets hit in the face when she's trying to block, so it's a protective measure.
Tough pass from Barboza. That will give Penn State an opportunity for 3 in a row. Glass to Harmato, yes. Did not register a kill in Game 3. Now she's got a pair of them here in Game 4.
And I don't know what Coach Rose said in that timeout, but they came out of it on fire, doing a much better job of getting Harmato the ball there.
The block was up for Penn State. Again on Kleinman, twice in a row. They'll go back to Alex. Dug up by Holhouse. Fawcett. Uh-oh. Here come the Nittany Lions. We're all tied up at 7. 56 miles an hour on that kill.
She hits the high gap there. Kehoe wasn't able to get her left arm close to Akinradwo's, but Akinradwo comes right back with the put away. It's like a Harmato kill, Akinradwo kill. Harmato, Akinradwo, they go back and forth.
Great recognition from Kehoe. Hey, we need a stop here. Let's set Feluca. Stanford back up by 1. Feluca now serving, again playing without the goggles. Glass looks to Hodge, the tip out of the back, and just barely scooted off the tape. Let's check in with Kathy Nelson.
Well, clearly they need the goggles, but there's a little bit of a strap problem. They broke, but the trainer has put some athletic tape on them. They've been fixed, and they will be on Feluca when she re-enters the game.
She rotates out, and the dump from Kehoe.
Catching Penn State. Penn State's been playing very good defense tonight, but when you see no player make a move, they have to be aware that Kehoe is in the front row. And when she's in the front row and the pass goes close, that's an option for her. Somebody has to be pinching in.
Harmato also rotates out now for Penn State on the overpass. Gerard takes care of it. Stanford back up by a couple. Francie now with 6 kills.
Well, that's another serve reception error again from Kehoe. That's not counted as an ace, but I call it one because it came back over for the kill. She's given Penn State all kinds of problems with her serve.
Fawcett puts an end to the Kehoe serve for the time being. Nicole Fawcett now 16 kills for the junior. Over 1,500 in her career now. Gerard cut that one nicely.
And Gerard also having a slow start tonight, but coming on with her 7th kill there. She had a rough match against UCLA in the regionals, but did a great job blocking.
Hodge with a tough pass. And now Stanford with an opportunity. Kleinman to Kehoe. The quick set to Gerard, and the block wasn't up. Great transition there by Stanford.
Well, first we saw Kehoe off her serve get an overpass. Now we saw Kleinman getting a pass that just gives Stanford back the free ball. Penn State not doing a good job of controlling Stanford's serve. And another one.
And Barboza pounds it.
Coach Dunning talked about in that break, we have to serve harder. We've got to put pressure on them. The Cardinal is doing exactly that, starting in game 3 and continuing halfway through here in game 4.
After the Penn State run, they respond now with 4 in a row. Kleinman. Blair Brown with the crusher.
The trouble for Penn State is they make a bad pass, they give up a point. Then maybe they get the ball back. But every server on Stanford is earning points before the ball goes back to Penn State. Penn State has to take care of business the first time Kehoe gets back there, or the first time Kleinman gets back there.
Now both Armato and Fawcett are out at the same time as the server Dorico comes on. A tough serve from her. Wilson with the kill.
And Dorico only 5'9", but she can really hit that jump serve. Same with Holthouse. Neither of those players are that tall, but they put a lot of heat on it.
Dorico goes at Barboza again. Gerard elevates quickly. And now Stanford starting to take advantage of the middle without Armato in there, and Feluca comes back onto the court for the Cardinal. Stanford out blocking Penn State so far tonight. Good defense by Francie. And then Hodge made the mistake of jumping into the net.
And I don't know if you can see it, but Akinrado, that ball was actually going out of bounds. A mistake of inexperience. Hodge had no business even jumping to block that because there was no attack. Watch, the ball's going out of bounds there. And she tries to be so aggressive, she shouldn't even have been at the net. Penn State still giving up another point the first time a server goes back, actually the second time for Gerard.
16-11 Stanford, and Penn State has seen enough. The Cardinal trying to even up the match here in the national championship. Things were running smoothly for Penn State, winning games 1 and 2. And then the Cardinal turned things around. They took game 3, and now with a vicious serving game are in control here in game 4. Penn State struggling with the serve receive. And Megan Hodge out of the timeout gets the kill. She's carrying them right now.
She really is. You could see it. Stanford's last 3 servers have all earned points off of their serve. Penn State, when they're playing really well, they get the ball right back.
9 aces in the match for the Cardinal. Barboza flying in behind Feluca.
And Kehoe doing a great job of getting Armato up in the air. By the time she hits the ground, it's wide open for Barboza on the angle. Let's see if a 4th Stanford server in Lickman can get a point off of her serve.
Glass looking to Armato, and no.
And the reason she did not get a point is Penn State finally took care of business by putting the ball right on the setter Glass's head. They had every one of the 3 options available to them. That's called in system, running their perfect offensive set.
Nice pass out of the back row that time. Kehoe looks to Feluca, finds the corner.
Boy, even when she misses the ball and doesn't get a lot of topspin on it, because she aims in by 4 or 5 feet, it still lands in just inside the line. Watch here, not a ton of topspin on this ball, but it lands a foot in.
Glass looks to Hodge, rolled it. Barboza with a great get. The tip from Kleinman, no. Back outside to Hodge. Yes.
What a great up by Barboza, though. Diving to her right with one arm. Hodge hits the same play again, and Barboza didn't expect it a second time.
22 kills now for Megan. Faluca got it through the block. Pushed over by Glass. Now Kehoe will go outside to Kleinman. Got it.
Kehoe showing great form there. She rotated almost 360 degrees, but a setter always wants to face her primary target, and on that last play, she finally turned around the face right to where she wanted to put that ball in front of Kleinman. Gives her a nice set. Kleinman with the put away.
The pass to Glass. She has to chase it. Stanford goes to Kleinman. Price got it. And now Hodge rolls it out of the back. Not much on it. Armato and Kehoe. Kleinman right at Whole House. They'll go to Fawcett. Got it.
Boy, Stanford got 2 breaks on that play. First of all, Megan Hodge jumped to hit back row, but her foot was on the 10-foot line. And then the second play, great up by Whole House. Second play, the setter might have mishandled the ball. Glass on that play. Some of the Stanford players were calling for a double contact.
Penn State leads 2-1. They took the first 2 games. In the 27-year history of the tournament, it's only happened twice that a team has rallied from down to nothing. And it has not happened during the rally scoring era of the last 7 years.
Boy, has Gerard come alive for Stanford. Kehoe getting her those perfectly located slide sets out to the antenna. That's really helping Stanford, because remember, they were getting crushed, those rotations, when Akinrado was out of the game in the back row. Gerard really helping pick up the slack.
East Coast versus West Coast here in our final. The Pac-10 champs from Penn State, or the Big Ten champions from Penn State. The Pac-10 champs out of Stanford. The Nittany Lions riding a 25-match win streak. Their last loss was to the Cardinal back in early June. Stanford, meanwhile, trying to help Coach John Dunning win a 5th national title. That would be the most for any one coach in NCAA history.
And in fact, in that match when Stanford won in 5, they were down 2-1 much earlier in the season, so they are experienced at coming back a little bit, but not from 2-0.
Barboza with the kill.
Some frustrated body language from the Penn State players, kind of looking at each other like, why didn't you get that ball? Why didn't you get that ball? They need to be more set and thinking about their own game here. Every player needing to make a contribution to come back from this 6-point deficit.
During their win streak, they've only lost a total of 6 games, and you touched on it earlier, Karch. They really have not been challenged much. They have been so dominant through the course of their conference play, and in this NCAA tournament, Game 3 is the first game they've lost in the postseason.
Nice pass by Ailes.
Barboza has it blocked. Glass goes to Hodge for the kill.
Boy, Ailes with a couple of really nice plays there. First with the pass off that heater from Fawcett, and then covering Barboza after she got blocked.
Ailes, who is playing her own way as a walk-on at Stanford. She was in the crowd last year. She's a Nebraska native, so she was watching in her Stanford gear in Omaha as the Cardinal fell in last year's final to Nebraska. Now she's out there with the Libros jersey on and trying to win a title for the Cardinal. Free ball. Kehoe. Barboza. Yep.
And we talked to Coach Dunning, how much is that if she's paying her way at Stanford? A lot.
Hodge off the antenna.
And one of the things Stanford did, they've been capable of it at any point in the season, is flip Barboza and Kleinman in the lineup, put one next to the setter, one opposite that. They did that after game 2 and have had a lot more success. No blocks for Penn State.
That's right. They have
for
eliminated
quite
that
some time.
aspect of their game, which they're so good at.
And another bad pass leading to no offense from Penn State.
Faluka has it sent back. Gerard will bump it to Kleinman in the back. Now Price looks to Hodge. Back to Hodge. They are going to her almost exclusively. She might be getting a little tired from all those attacks. Kleinman with the kill. And we're 4 points away from being all squared into a piece.
But you can see Hodge doesn't get a good approach. Kleinman does. That's why she gets the put away. Hodge is much better in system on that really fast set. She just comes walking in, doesn't get a very dynamic run up to the ball at all, and so she's not getting good swings.
Back to serve for the Nittany Lions, number 4,
Roberta Holhouse to serve. Penn State's got a lot of ground to make up. Kehoe to Barboza. Glass looks to Hodge, who has moved over to the other side now. Price. Ailes is there with the dig. Kleinman swooping in out of the back.
Coach Dunning talked about how amazed he is and happy he is that Stanford can lean on this freshman, Alex Kleinman, doing such a nice job all season long, and again on that play.
18 kills. She's hitting .311 in this championship match with 12 digs. And a double contact called on Penn State. And boy, you've got to be wondering about the psyche of this team right now as their 2-0 lead has all but disappeared.
Another Stanford server getting a near ace there for the Stanford point. And another near ace. It doesn't count as one, but both those serves directly led to Stanford points by Lickman. All the Stanford players doing a great job of putting pressure on the Penn State serve receivers.
Game point to force a game 5 for the championship. Kehoe to Faluka with nobody blocking. Stanford has rallied from down 2 to even up the match. Akinrado laying it down. Arco Arena in Sacramento, and the comeback for the Cardinal. After falling behind 0-2, we are all square. Let's take a look at the Pontiac high-performance moment coming from Alex Kleinman in Game 4.
Boy, did she turn it on for the Stanford Cardinal from the front row. From the back row, very effective. And she got points off her serve, put pressure in every way she could on the Penn State defense.
Penn State's got to put their troubles behind them now and focus on the present. And boy, look at the momentum they're riding over on the Stanford huddle right now. Kleinman, 18 kills, 5 of those coming in that Game 4 for the freshman in her first appearance in the national championship.
What a performance by them. All the momentum right now is with the Stanford Cardinal. Penn State's going to have to work extra hard to get it back after they had it so easy the first 2 games. And it comes by controlling the Stanford serve better, and Penn State led up on its serving. Most coaches will tell you that if you win the serving battle and the serve-receive battle, you should win 95% of the time. Penn State won that battle in the first 2 games. They won easily. Stanford won that battle the second 2 games. They won easily.
Game 5 is to 15.
Akinrado is in left front, just where they started against USC. They want her to have as many offensive opportunities in this abbreviated game as possible.
Barboza. Now Glass will look to Hodge. Between the blockers, and Penn State jumps in front.
See, Penn State didn't hit poorly almost 400 in game 4 when they have a good pass, but they're in horrible trouble when they don't. That time, off the defense, they had a good pass.
Kehoe to Faluka.
Nice up.
Good get by Dorico. Now Kleinman, the pass to Hodge. They go back to Faluka. Denied again. Unable to get the offense they were looking for, and Faluka missed it wide. Great decision by the freshman to let that one slide past her.
The first error of the game by Akinradwo. That may end up costing them. Unusual as the most efficient hitter in college volleyball this year.
2-0 in this shortened game to 15, and then the service error gives a point back to Stanford.
So now Penn State is receiving serve. They had such trouble in games 3 and 4 getting this point the first time a server goes back. Let's see if they can control Lickman's server better and get a great set out to Hodge. Nope, bad pass.
Oh, and they still got away with it on a nice play by Harmato. Tremendous athleticism to get to it.
That's exactly right. Got away with it. They did not get a good pass. Couldn't even get the ball out to Hodge if they wanted to, but they got lucky that time.
3-1 Nittany Lions. Kehoe looks to Kleinman out of the black. 3 blockers up for it. Barboza, the miscommunication. Chance for Penn State. Hodge missed it. Point Stanford.
You are right. Major confusion there. You wouldn't expect that in the last game of such a great season that Stanford has. 32 wins, 2 losses, but they get the lucky point there.
You can hear Russ Rose yelling out, hey, we need a better pass.
And that wasn't it. The pass was so bad that Glatz could not contact that ball cleanly. It was close enough to the net, but it went far too much to the right sideline. It needs to be about 12 feet in from that sideline. That's a better one.
Armato sliding behind, no! Stanford takes the lead at 4-3.
A rare error from the second most efficient hitter in college volleyball, Armato.
Just her second of the night. Hodge got that one down. And here comes Nicole Fawcett now back into the match. 25 kills for Megan Hodge tonight. Kehoe looks to Kleinman. Hodge was there. Armato off the block. Point Penn State.
Hodge started it. They don't expect her to play that much defense. She's so good at every other phase of the game. But setting that ball up, getting it perfectly on top of Glass's head.
Kehoe looks to Faluka again. They're able to keep it up. Fawcett with the crush. Point Penn State.
Right past Akinradwo. Risky hit. She got blocked on that earlier. Watch this. Oh. Serious heat hitting basket past Akinradwo.
Through the floor with that one. It's a 6-4 lead for Penn State. This championship match coming down to game 5. And tremendous fortitude so far shown by Penn State to come out strong here after dropping games 3 and 4.
It's not easy to have had all the wind leave Penn State's sails, and they got it back. Came out with a 3-1 or 4-1 lead, and then gave that up, and now they're back up 6-4.
Beth Mullins, Karch Karai, Kathy Nelson with us as well. For the first time in the rally scoring era of the last 7 years, we've got a championship match that comes down to a game 5. And how different is the shortened game than the first 4 going to 30? This one's only to 15.
Hitting errors are magnified because each one of them is almost a tenth of what that team needs to win the game. We've seen one from each team. Akinradwo with it. Actually, a second one from Armato, unusual. Akinradwo, unusual, and from Hodge too. Got to keep the ball in game 5.
She has equaled her season high. She's a couple short of a career high. 4 players in double-figure kills for Stanford, 4 for Penn State. The 2 best teams in the nation putting on a show here in Sacramento. That's the 4th time the block has denied Akinradawo here in game 5. Kehoe will go to Kleinman, tried to push it deep. Fawcett blocked by Akinradawo and put down by Harmado. 7-4 Penn State.
Hodge with a great chase down over in the right corner when it came up, and then she creates the opportunity for Penn State.
Kehoe looks to Kleinman long.
And Kehoe not locating that set well. It went almost 10 feet off the net. Kleinman not in good position to hit that. It was behind her head, so it goes out of bounds. Stanford has to stop Penn State right here. Don't want to get any bigger than a 4 or 5 point deficit. It only goes to 15.
The last time that Penn State won it all, they were out in Hawaii playing against Stanford in the 1999 final, and it was a clean sweep, 3-0, and their one and only national championship. And back to live action, and Alicia Glass over on 2 for the kill.
What great volleyball IQ, and you know what Penn State's doing? They are, Akinradawo's been in the front row this whole time, and they've earned this 5-point advantage. They've completely grasped the bull by the horns, got the momentum again.
6-0 run for Penn State, and a dump by Glass. 10-4 Nittany Lions.
These have been the 2 most solid hitters for Stanford, Akinradawo and Kleinman. They have them both in the game in the front row, and they can't get a put away.
The block that was non-existent in games 3 and 4, they haven't been blocks for kills, but they've certainly slowed down the attack here from Stanford.
Exactly right. We call those 0 blocks or soft blocks, and they're just as good if you end up transitioning. There's one right there, perfect soft block. Then the dig goes up to the net in the perfect position, and Glass now with 2 straight putaways when she makes the dump. We call it the setter putting it over on the second contact rather than setting one of her hitters.
Looking for their 2nd NCAA volleyball championship, the first time they've been back here since they won in 1999. And the Stanford Cardinal, this is their 2nd straight trip to the final. They are seeking their 7th title in school history.
And keep in mind, Penn State, the only big player they lose is Kate Price, who has been a big leader for them along with Alicia Glass. Coach Rose giving her a lot of credit for the leadership and emotional stability she's provided for this team. But they're going to be big #1, I think, ranked favorites going into the 2008 season.
Game is to 15, must win by 2. Penn State 10, Stanford 4. All square here in the national championship match.
What's interesting is Hodge doesn't even have that great a serve. She's just getting the ball in, but the Penn State, the front line of defense, the blockers, the second line of defense, the diggers, are doing a tremendous job of keeping the ball alive. Not getting those aces like Stanford was getting.
Megan Hodge to serve for the Nittany Lions. Kleinman had to tip it. Penn State in transition. Harmano's rejected by Kleinman on the solo block. Wow.
If Stanford comes back to win, remember that play. Watch that right arm of Kleinman. Harmano almost never gets stopped on that.
Still doubling up Stanford now, as Akinradawo will serve. Glass looks to Fawcett, got it down.
One of the rare times Penn State received a serve and got the kill in the point without Stanford earning a 2nd serving opportunity.
Armado will go out, but Aria Wilson comes back in the middle, and Kara Callahan to serve. Barbosa's pass to Kehoe. She looks to Kleinman. 3 blockers waiting for her. Ailes will set. Barbosa in the back. And Glass with another big kill on the dump.
For a lift.
She's going to be called for the lift. Point to Stanford.
It did look like she hung on to the ball a little too much. Did the old Shaq slam down there, and you can't hold on to it too long. That's probably a good call. Right there. Cassidy Lickman even ready for it, but when it goes down that steeply, almost no defender can come up with it.
Kehoe serving. Allhouse. Fawcett, she has it turned back. Waller
Well, Hodge has to be a little more ready for the ball to come back, but it started with Holthaus struggling again to control that Stanford serve. Remember how many points Kehoe has gotten off of her serve.
5 aces and probably double the points. Forces the overpass right there. Kleinman, long. And Penn State is 3 points away from the championship.
But in 1999, Coach Rose had the opportunity after they won, got an invitation to go to the White House, ended up declining, just wanted to get ready for the next season. If they end up winning here, he wants to let his players decide this time. 2 points away now.
2 points away from the national championship, which would be their second ever. Waller keeping Stanford going.
Kleinman also has been scoring a lot of points on her serve. We'll see if Penn State can make the good service reception, the good pass right on Glass's head here.
13-8. Kleinman. Hodge with the pass to Glass. They look to Fawcett. Ailes digs it up. Barboza on the counter for Stanford, and it's put back. And it's match point for Penn State. Huge block by the freshman, Brown and Wilson.
Now serving championship point #1.
Fawcett on championship point. Free ball, Nittany Lions. Glass to Megan Hodge. It's over. The Penn State Nittany Lions are the 2007 national champions. Taking the 2-0 lead, and then they squandered it. Stanford tied it at 2 apiece. And then what a response by Penn State in Game 5. And they win their second national championship. And for the second year in a row, Stanford is denied in the final. What a year for Russ Rose, National Coach of the Year, an induction into the AVCA Hall of Fame, and he caps it off with the national championship trophy. A 12-4 run in Game 5, capped off by Hodge's 26th kill of the match. And Happy Valley just got a whole lot happier.